Okay, everybody, welcome to Legit Crypto Lounge. This is the place where we're trying to bring real projects together with real people. Today's AMA, we are joined by Owners Unity. We've got Paul, Daz, Harvey, and I think it was Scott speaking from the team today. So just to give you a quick structure of the next hour, we'll just find out a bit about the team. We'll look at the details of the project, what sets it apart, its USPs. And then obviously at the end we'll have a bit of a Q&A. So before we get into the nitty gritty, guys, Paul, do you want to introduce yourself, the team, kind of how you got together and what's brought you together?
Yeah, certainly. So my name's Paul. I've known Scott, who's also Das, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah. We've known each other for what must be over 10 years now. Scott is the founder of this project, and he brought me on board after seeing sort of my career in marketing develop over 10 years. My background is marketing, advertising, particularly working with influencers and key opinion leaders. I've got a unique talent of being able to manage global promotions teams and drive key opinion leaders to drive large amounts of traffic towards projects. So that's my role. We have Scott, who's obviously the co-founder on the call as well. The board itself is put together with a bunch of people with some extensive experience in all the relevant fields. So we have in the property side, Barry McGinn, who has 18 years worth of property development. He's involved with the $500 billion Saudi Arabian Neon development. We have an amazing Chief Technical Officer, Dean White, Sal, who's our tokenomics expert, and Harvey, who's also on the call. He's our maths expert, making sure all the figures are perfect. Shall I pass it over to Scott, or shall I get straight into an introduction to the coin?
Yeah, whatever suits you better. If you want to introduce himself, that's fine.
Sure. Well, maybe I'll do a brief outline of the brand and what Owners Unity hopes to achieve, and then we'll move on to Scott can take the baton.
Yeah, sure, yeah. Just before we go on to that, what kind of experience have you guys got in from crypto? Have you done anything else previously, or?
Yeah, so marketed for other coins. Scott's been involved in crypto for what must be over. How long would you say, Scott?
Years.
Yes. Okay. Very good. Yeah. So amongst the team, there must be several decades worth of experience within the crypto. But yeah, so guys, everyone, thank you for joining us. The first Legit Crypto and Owners Unity AMA. To give you a background on Owners Unity, we are a decentralized finance meets real estate project. We are a disruptive project that aims to revolutionize the way the world purchases property. Now, what does that mean? A lot of words get thrown around in the crypto space, and a lot of it, doesn't really have any substance. So what does it mean for homeowners? It means abandoning the old mortgage system in place for our Owners Unity payment program. Most importantly, it means abandoning the credit check system, or the traditional means that banks would check and dig up old history for people who could otherwise afford their property. We're replacing this with an affordability check. So you should not be denied to buy a home when you are paying double in rent. That's just, crazy. You see a lot of memes on the internet, people are paying $1,000 in rent, but they can't get a mortgage for $500 a month. So we believe that's incorrect. You should not be denied a home when you're paying double in rent. The message is simple. Everyone deserves a home, and everyone should be able to afford a home. So whether you're a young professional or someone, later in life that has a family or even retired, you should have access to a home, and we're here to provide that solution. One example of, these cases where people have been denied homes, I think we did an AMA in another channel, and the host himself actually said that because of a medical bill in the USA, he was unable to get a mortgage into his 20s and 30s, and we think that's ridiculous, So we're here with the solution. We've got an amazing team with a wealth of experience to deliver it, from, as I've said, property to tokenomics. To give you a background on the company ethos, we have Scott Shearer here to speak, and he can give you a further introduction to the brand.
Sure.
Hi everyone, I'm Scott. I'm the co-founder of Owners Unity. The idea came about for this over years of conversations with friends, colleagues, just with regards to the way that the whole housing market has moved. When I was younger, and I'm sure some people on here will remember, the average mortgage was 20 years. It's now up to 30. We base what we do on two core principles. Those core principles are: everyone has the right to a decent standard of living, and everyone has the right to a decent standard of home. That's key, and they're the core principles behind our ethos. Now, the reason we exist is housing prices are going up. Just this week, there's been articles from Canada where they're stopping people who aren't Canadians from purchasing homes. From England with regards to the lack of housing, and also in America. So you can go online and find the information. We all know with the inflation, stagnant wages, just the printing of money because of the pandemic, that it's not only caused people's fear to be worth less, but also it's given a lot of people issues around their credit rating. A lot of people now have adverse credit through no fault of their own, except that the pandemic happened. The traditional format doesn't take into account the personal aspect of what can impact a person's ability to pay. You could have been renting for 10, 15 years, but because of a specific number on your credit rating, if you don't hit the points that are required, then you don't get a mortgage. It doesn't take into account that you've not missed a payment in certain areas of life. So that's the other issue, which we look to resolve. The way that the team came together is through, I was mulling this over with a couple of friends, and I met Sal through a different project that we were both interested in. I've been in crypto since 2018. Sal's been in slightly longer. And we both decided that he had the idea for the front end. So he had the idea for the rebase token. And my project was the whole real world utility and bringing them together to make this work. I've worked as a business consultant and run my own business consultancy since 2013. I have contacts in the energy sector. I've worked in the construction sector as well. All of my friends, not all of my friends, but a large portion of my friends work in either energy, property or construction. So we converse about this all the time. We decided last year that we should look to do this because crypto has given us the opportunity to do this by cutting out the middleman, the banks. We can now produce a product that will assist people and will reduce the costs. The key selling points for us with regards to the clients, our product gives everyone the chance to get on the housing ladder due to less prescriptive conditions. You can clear your balance quicker due to the tokenomics that we've created. And you can also improve your own wealth and stabilize your financial position. And that's the key point to us, is the additional financial security that we offer with our specific tokenomics and how it interacts between real world and the cryptocurrency side. Now, that's for the clients. What do we do for the investors? The reward system that we have offers multiple levels of rewards, from the rebased tokens. You've got the buy, sell returns in stable coin. If you stake, you then receive an APY on your staking. Due to the real world secondary tokenomics, you also receive a reward as a stakeholder. You also receive a reward just for holding the token, because we don't want anyone left out. And then through the tertiary tokenomics, we also offer an additional reward. So there's multiple levels of rewards. And because we have the two systems, they interact with each other, but they also offer protection. So if there is a flaw in the crypto market, if like now, for instance, we're having a slight dip, then the real world benefits and the rewards from those tokenomics will still be provided to you. So you're always going to receive a good level of rewards. And as the real world company grows and we have more volume in the real world company, therefore the rewards that you receive will also grow. So technically, at some point, the actual price of the token won't be as important as just holding the token, even if the crypto market collapsed totally and there was, a very minimal crypto presence moving forward, which I don't believe in. But even if there was, due to the real world rewards and benefits, you would still receive a good balance in proportion to what you're holding. Also, for additional protection due to security, we're looking to lock our liquidity pool and our smart contract for a third party. We plan to use a launchpad for contract audit and KYC. And we're strong believers in community. Everything we do is community based. And for that reason, everything will be voted on that impacts the community. We'll run the business, but anything that impacts what the company, what the community are going to receive, or the way that the project moves forward, that will all be done by vote. It'll just be an up and down vote. We're not going to get into the weeds with it, but that's the whole idea of that. The project in total looks for the long-term goals. So it's not just a short-term project. This project is intended to alter the way that the property market runs and to make it more beneficial for the client. We're looking to put the power back into the hands of the people that work hard every day and see their financial value reduced, just so that a few people at the top end of the market can just get richer and richer. But we also want to provide a sustainable future for our clients, but also to help protect the planet for future generations. So the end goal is a creation of green, carbon neutral housing that is built using sustainable products that will be self-sustaining and that will run on renewable energies and that will be powered by blockchain smart technology. That would be the end goal. And if we can do all this, we can also look to reduce poverty levels by giving everyone the opportunity to get into a home. That's the outline of the goals that we have for this project.
Cool. So, one of you guys, sorry, are you going to touch on that, Paul?
I was about to jump in, but you've jumped in. That's great.
No, go ahead, mate. Go ahead. I can catch up.
If you had questions, that's fine.
Yeah. So basically, I was just going to ask for a process of how this is all going to work. Let's say I want to I buy a house. I want to get on the property ladder. What's that? What exactly is happening? Give me a breakdown of this.
Okay, Harvey, do you want to take that one or?
Is everyone there? Can you hear me now?
You got
Harvey.
You can hear me. Well, you all know that if you go through a traditional mortgage, over 30 years, you'll probably pay anywhere from 50 to 60% back. Well, basically, because of our affordability check and because we don't work like that, we basically have a small administration fee, and we do ask for a little payment up front. We've got to have some security, as you can imagine, and the remaining, portfolio, remaining balance. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me. The remaining balance, we would just divide over the 325-year, average term that you pay for a mortgage. As a result, we worked out we're probably around 30% cheaper than a traditional mortgage. And on top of that, because we invest the funds, we give you a percentage of the funds back off your portfolio. So in essence, if we work on a basic 5 type, an ROI of 5, we can actually pay your house off in approximately under 10 years. And if you see some of the figures we have on our white paper, you can actually put the figures in and it will do the calculation for you. So the benefits is it's cheaper monthly payment, and on top of that, we hope if everything goes to plan, we'll reduce your mortgage, that will reduce your length of payment by a long time. So, everybody wins on that point. So basically, we're not charging the interest what the bank would charge you. We're actually giving you a fair percentage of anything we make back.
So let's say I come to you and I want to get a house, so I put this deposit down here. Just looking on this forecast, it's for 5,000.
It's not really classed as a deposit. It's more like a security. We understand, but we still take it off the portfolio.
And what do you, with that initial deposit or initial security? You invest that, is that right?
We do.
And then do you do the same with the monthly payments?
Yes.
So who bears the risk of that investment going wrong?
We do. We do, because we have bought the house.
Okay. So
we're
the
not
house
giving you any money. We actually bought the house for you, and you're paying us back.
Okay, and then at the end of that period, you transfer ownership of the house, I'm guessing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think to clarify, whatever you pay is deducted from the outstanding balance. So when you pay the £500, for instance, or the deposit, that comes off of the total of the value of the property. Whatever happens with regards to the investment is immaterial to the balance reduction of your payments.
Yeah, I kind of get that. But if the investment goes south, then that's gone, hasn't it?
Yeah, agreed. But there are certain methods that you can put in place and formulas that you can use to reduce the risk. There's always a risk involved. But if you use reasonably secure investment portfolios, then that reduces the risk.
Okay, understood. And what are you going to base your investments on? Is this going to be up to the community again, like you said, or is this going to be something that you guys do as an internal team?
We will offer different packages to the client. So there will be a varying, so you can have low, medium and high risk. That would be determined by the client in the original agreement. What we would look to do is to have an overriding base that we would work from with regards to the investments. But each investment portfolio is individual and is tied to the individual client. We're not going to use one client's investment to impact another client's product. So everything is done bespoke to the individual client as they come on board, and it will be discussed, and we will talk through with them what it is that we're going to do it and how we're going to do it.
Okay, guys, so do you want to carry on, or am I interrupting your flow? If you're speaking, Harvey, can't hear you.
No, Scott has basically covered all the ins and outs there in what he said.
Well, with regards to the risk, there's a risk in everything. But if you look at the crypto market, we believe the crypto market is here to stay. So a high portion of our investment will be in cryptocurrency. So yes, whilst there is a risk, I still feel, and I'm sure a lot of people here will agree with me, that we are early to the space, and the space will grow. There's always fluctuations, which is why the basis of our figures is over a 10-year period. We all know that you can make or lose a lot of money in cryptocurrency, but as long as you've got a good entrance and exit strategy, you can make money in a bull or bear market. It just depends on how you invest and which strategies you use. So we believe, as with everything in life, there's a risk. Nothing is guaranteed 100%, but we are highly confident that the formula that we have will yield rewards. Just based on the existing market and what's happened over the past 10 years, whilst you can't extrapolate that forward and say X is going to happen again because you've got different market forces in play now than you did 5 years ago, I'm still confident that moving forward that the market will expand. The market always goes up. Even when you have crashes, the market rebuilds and usually ends up going higher. You know, we were at all-time highs. The traditional markets reach all-time highs this year. Everything goes in the same direction. It's just making sure that you have the right strategy in place to take advantage of that. And crypto offers great benefits and great rewards. And you don't have to take too much risk. You don't have to, be silly and, try and make, life-changing money overnight. That's not how you do it. That's not how you invest in crypto. If you're looking to build a stable portfolio that's going to grow over time. So that's to do with that approach. We've worked out a formula. The formula has been tried. It's been tested. We're confident, due to the research that we've done, that it will yield rewards for everyone, which is why we're quite confident to move forward with the project as is. We've also are looking at building an ecosystem, and that ecosystem will add additional revenue streams, and the additional revenue streams will give us additional funds so that we can do more on the real world side of the project. And then once we've got to a certain level on the real world side of the project, that will assist everyone, and then it will be more dependent on what happens with the real world portfolio, because we'll be able to build traditional market stocks and shares and hybrid mix them with the cryptos, that moving forward all of our clients have a stable income tied to their property, which is key. One of the features of our product is that we plan for each of our homes to have a portfolio tied to it, so that once you've purchased the property and it's in your hands, it's been signed over to you, that property then has a portfolio, and that portfolio is tied to the property moving forward, and it provides an additional income as an additional benefit. And we believe that your home is your castle, and your home should be there to protect you. It should be a place of security. It should be your comfort zone. And there's no reason, with the way that the markets are evolving, that your property can't provide you a passive income. So we're looking to do that through the use of NFTs. We're looking to make advances with regards to what NFTs are used for. We're looking to tie the property deeds to the NFT, so your NFT is actually the title to your property. And then with that, we're looking at other real world utilities that you can add to the NFT, and we want the NFT to do more, but that's a long-term outlook.
Cool. All right. So let me just go back to the investment side of things again, just briefly. Have you guys put any of your packages together where the money might be going, or can you discuss on it? Is it mostly going to be blue chips, or are you going to be yield farming, or the occasional shit coin, so to speak? I don't know.
There's absolutely. We're not doing shit coins. We're not going anywhere near shit coins. I can't discuss exactly what we're doing because we're looking to patent certain aspects of what we're doing and trademark it, because there's a lot of real world utility and it's wrapped up in the totality of the package. If we tell you now exactly what we're going to invest in, then we're giving up the birdie. But all I would say is that if you look at the crypto space, you're all involved in it. You can do any research you want. And if you look over the space of 5 to 10 year period, you'll see that the returns have been quite generous. So we've based our figures on what to invest in by looking at what products in the market do well, what kind of period returns they have. So we want some of our investment to be stable, so you've got a steady increase over time. We'll be looking for some that is more volatile, but also has good support and good backing. We're not risking any of the client's money on anything that we don't think is going to produce a benefit, because it's not just the short-term benefit. When we say we're offering returns, and those returns are over a period of time, although you can get the boosts when the market increases, there's a lot of time, as you know, when the market's down. So although we've got an exit strategy, we've also got to look at the portfolio that we want to tie to the property moving forward. So we don't want anything that can go through the roof and then you take a percentage out and you're holding the rest of the tokens, and then there's a rug pull or it crashes and it dies or anything like that. So there's a lot of research that goes into it, with regards to the percentages and the liquidity, making sure that the coins are fully supported. So that's the basis behind the strategy.
Are you planning to keep any of it as a purely stable coin? Like what percentage are you planning to use for dip buying, for example? I'm not 100% sure on your strategy at the minute, because you can't talk too much away about it. But are you investing all of that money, or are you holding some back?
We're holding some back, but
okay,
because
you got a percentage on that?
It's not decided yet, to be honest.
All right. Okay.
And the reason around that is because it will vary from month to month, and as we grow, we will be able to hold more back. So it's a different thing. Once we've got more revenue in, we can then keep more revenue for opportunities that arise that we can then invest in and produce more money for our clients.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think it's maybe important to emphasize that, again, these investments and the results of the investment in no way sort of affect the client, only in positive ways, to shave several years off the mortgage. The properties themselves are purchased in full by Owners Unity. So the only sort of probabilities that the owner have is, a great success or a moderate success, depending on how many years are shaved off their mortgage. I think that's important to emphasize.
Yeah, I think on the back of that, it's just if you're holding a specific amount of your portfolio, that will rise over time. So we've based some of the profit based on that. If the whole market crashes and it dies out totally, then obviously people lose. That's a risk everyone takes. But that happens in the real world with stocks. That's happened with the 2008 crash. So there's no absolute security or protection from situations that we can't foresee to that level. But as long as you manage your portfolio correctly, it increases over time. The increases in crypto are higher than the increases in the traditional markets. So our figures are based on those increases, and then we've reduced them to produce a conservative estimate to make sure that we're not giving people, some fairy tale story of what can be achieved. I urge anyone to go to the market, pick out 10 tokens, mid-range tokens, have a look at them, have a look at the increase they've had over the past 5 years, or if they're not that old, in the period of their lifetimes, and you will see, like with any portfolio, any strategy we have, we'll lose with some tokens. That happens. But we'll also win with some. And it's a case of weighing the balance between what you invest in and what you expect the returns to be. If you're only looking for a 500% return on a crypto on average over a 10-year period, I think we'll all agree that that's pretty conservative and pretty achievable. So I think if you average the figures out at that, the formula and the strategy we have for investment is a conservative strategy that is designed to support the business and give the business the best chance to achieve its goals and grow moving forward.
Okay, yeah, okay, I'm with you. Let's just go back to the affordability thing and checking affordability of clients. Have you got something in place to do a basic check, or what's your situation there?
Yeah, I can perform full credit checks.
Okay.
So, because I run a business consultancy, and I also have a friend that runs a credit business. So, doing credit checks isn't an issue. Obviously, the information that we pass on to the community with regards to approving or denying the applicants won't be based specifically on their credit rating. We'll be looking at other aspects of their ability to pay. So, like I said, if they can show that they've been working for a period of time, that they've had, they've been paying their rent over that period of time, and they've, only missed one or two payments occasionally, but in general, their payment record and their payment history is good, then that shouldn't be a disqualifier to them gaining access to the program, and that's what we plan to do. So we'll take a look at every aspect possible that we can. We're not just going to ignore the credit check. Obviously, there's some things that you can't overlook, but if it's just a case of them having a bad credit rating due to previous circumstances and something that they've overcome, but they're not in a period to have it removed from their credit score, then that's not an issue. Okay.
So from my understanding from that now, is you guys will be buying the house outright, yeah?
Yes.
So it won't be mortgaged for yourself, so that'll be covered. How much capital have you guys got to set up with? Like, how many houses can you start with to get this ball rolling?
We are in the process of raising capital at the moment.
Is that coming through fund of the token, or
yes,
different methods?
It's mainly through funding of the token. We don't want to take on board venture capital or angel investment or anything like that, because then that hinders us in our ability to fulfill the roadmap that we've set out and to achieve our goals. We want it to be purely driven by the community. We would be happy with the way that our system works, that if we got enough money to put one person in the home, it's a start and we can build from there. This is a long-term strategy. It's a long-term plan. If everything went perfectly the way that we envisage it, we could put someone in a home 3 months after launch, because I've done all the research with the FCA. I've been in touch with the FCA. I'm in contact with them because obviously you need to check these things out, whether you need licensing or not in the UK. We are mainly, most of our knowledge is in the UK, so most of our research has been based in the UK. So we've got the green light from them with regards to what we plan to do. We've been put in touch with their innovation hub because of the way that our system works. It's a unique system. So that's that side of it. So we know we're good in the UK. And we've got the contracts done. Simon is coming to finalise them with me on May the 6th. So we will have...
Is that client contracts?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool.
Okay. So he's coming over to sit with me. We've done a lot, obviously, on the internet, but he wants to come over, sit down, so we can go through and finalise them on May the 6th. So they'll be ready. We're not launching until the end of Q2. Obviously, to start with, the key thing to start with is to help those that need it most, the most impacted. So we're not looking at people that are looking to move into a 350 grand house to start with. You know, that's down the line. You know, as I'm sure you're aware, in certain parts of England, it used to be able to get a home for 50, 60 grand, but even that's gone up to about 80, 90 grand now. But the way that the tokenomics work and the way that we've looked at the formula, even if we would have put one person in a home in 3 months, that's a start, and we can build on that. We're also looking to build the ecosystem to generate revenue as well. So we have plans for a whole ecosystem, all of the aspects that you would expect of a crypto token to become a coin, all of the aspects that you would expect them to have is what we plan to have moving forward. So there's that side of it. With regards to the real world side, once we've got the person in situ and the revenue is coming in, then obviously that will go to the secondary and tertiary tokenomics, which in itself generates revenue. Realistically, we would ask for 6 to 12 months before we look to seat people. But if everything went well, there's no reason why it couldn't happen in 3 months. Outside of the UK is a different matter because we don't have all of the contracts for every jurisdiction globally, obviously. But what we can do is, and what we've said to the community we'll do, is we will take applications. When those applications come in, we will then vet them, put them through to the community. The community will vote, and wherever they decide that they want to put people in homes first, we'll do it. And if that means that there's a couple of months delay in us getting people into properties, it really doesn't matter in the long term, because this project is intended to be here in perpetuity. So whatever needs to be done to get to the situation where we can put people in properties and then build the company moving forward is what we're looking to do.
Okay, cool. So there's so much to talk about, to be honest with you, this project.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good, buddy. I've got well, I don't have all the time because you've got another AMA. But if you want us to come back after and have a chat, it's cool. I'll go through everything with you.
We'll cover what we can. So you basically your focus is going to be on the UK to start with, right? I presume most of the teams from the UK. That makes sense.
We're actually
no.
Oh, should I jump in for a little bit? Give your voice a rest.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, sure. Let you grab a drink of water. So a lot of the team is from the UK, but we also have team members stretching all around the world. Australia, the USA. So while it's very tempting and easy to look at the UK and the USA, we're also going to be looking at developing markets and developing nations all across the world. So we're really looking for this to be an international project rather than just the UK. Obviously, you sound like you've got a UK accent and you know the prices of the property in the UK at the moment. So it's almost more wise to be starting elsewhere initially and build up across the West.
Okay, yeah. So I presumed it would just be UK because you guys probably understood the laws and stuff a bit more over here and had an understanding of how it worked. But no, that's cool. It makes sense to start somewhere where house prices are cheaper.
I mean, we've actually obviously, when I mentioned Barry previously having the working on the Saudi Arabia development, and we've also took on advisors in the US, property advisors in the market, who are currently advising us on all of the sort of terms and conditions and regulations within the USA. We're looking for this to be an international project. The housing crisis is an international one. I'm sure there's lots of people in this group from various different locations that are aware of it in their own country. It's becoming unaffordable, and hopefully we're here with a solution.
So I've noticed on your roadmap, Q4 21 as a registered company. Where is it registered? Is it UK?
And so the parent company is going to be registered in the United Arab Emirates, Dubai. But each country will have to have its own company. So we'll have to register it in different parts of Europe, Asia, the USA, depending on where we will have property. And I believe the setup will be each the property will be tied to that respective company in that country, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So starting in the UAE, has that been done yet?
No, but that's coming very soon.
Okay. Right. Let me just go back to a little bit on the token. I know this is taking up a bit of the AMA, but
no, that's fine.
I want to understand how the purchase is made. So, as a client, what money is going towards the out token? Is it being bought? Is that initial being bought? Is it being sold to then make the investment for the volume? Just try and give me an understanding of that.
Sure, I'll pass that over to Scott.
Yeah. Well, I might. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Can you just clarify the question, just so I'm clear?
Yes. So just trying to work out where the money's going as a client. Obviously, you've got the token, but as a client, and I come to you and we want to get a house. That initial deposit, is that touching the chart at all, or is that all staying off chart? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it's all tied in. So the crypto side of it and the real world side of it, although they interact with each other, if you're a client, because a lot of people in the real world are still very skeptical of crypto. And we want to give everyone the best opportunity. So what we're doing is when you come in, you don't purchase the property or spend the token to start with on the property, you use fiat. That fiat is then transferred into crypto. It's then put through our investment schedule, and then it is returned as fiat to the client, but it's also returned as crypto as part of the secondary and tertiary tokenomics to the token holders. So not every client to start with will hold the token. They should do because it's beneficial for them, but we want to educate people as well. We want to show them the real world benefits of what crypto can provide. So by slowly introducing them to cryptocurrency and showing them a net positive of what cryptocurrency can provide for them, we're then hoping to bring them on board and increase adoption of crypto.
Okay. But so initially though, these deposits and payments and stuff, they aren't buying out token, are they? No. On the way back in, you're getting this 20% distribution to the out. Is that going into the token, or does that mean in the team?
No, that's going to cover the cost of the real world company, because there'll be running costs. Yeah. So you need to have the 20% to cover running costs. But if you look at the tertiary tokenomics, any excess from that amount is then reinvested and it's redistributed to token holders.
In the form of the token, right?
Yes. So anything that comes through the company to start with, the real world company is in fiat. So the client's paying fiat. Mm-hmm. We then turn it into crypto for the investments.
Yep.
Once the investment is done, it's split in accordance with the tokenomics, and then it's transferred back to fiat to go into the portfolio for the client. It's fiat for the out token, for the out company, but the stakeholders 12.5% will be stable coin. All holders will be stable coin. Marketing and developing will be fiat or crypto, dependent on what we're invested in the marketing and development side.
Does it not make sense for the stakeholders or the all holders to get it in out token to keep up your volume on the chart rather than stable?
It could keep up the volume on the chart, but then by returning stable to it, we're trying to help make sure that they're less impacted by the market. And we are looking at some point to have the token used for payment. So in the early stages, that's the initial outlay. But we listen to advice, and that's something that we can take on board. And it's a good idea, but we'll give that to the community to vote on, because that impacts the community. At the moment, it's set as BUSD, but it could be changed to out. And we'll let the community decide. But that's a good idea. Like in the last AMA, a good point was raised with regards to whether utilities, your gas and electricity, whether that could be rolled into the portfolio. Because if you're creating the extra monies, why not use that extra monies to alleviate some of the additional costs that are now being incurred? So that's something we've taken on board as well. It's an evolving, like I say all the time, it's an evolving project. We have ideas, but you guys come up with ideas that we haven't thought of. And we take them on board and we use them to make the product better for everyone. So that's a good idea. We'll see what the community says.
Yeah, awesome. Okay. Just touch on this affordable housing, the 25% affordable housing. Is this referring to buying the next house? Is that what you mean by that?
It is with regards to buying the next house, but ultimately it's to build our own affordable housing and to build sheltered housing. That's the end goal. But we've got, because it is a long-term project, we've got to get there. But it's so people know that the affordable housing eventually is to make sure that we can build our own properties and premises. That's what that's intended for. Okay.
There was another thing on the roadmap in Q1, strategic partnerships. Was that? Yes, that's Q2 2022. Has any of this been done on the strategic partnerships yet? Have you hit any of them?
We've secured 2 NFT partnerships. The whole NFT issue is we've got big plans for how NFTs are going to interact with our product moving forward. We've got very big plans for what NFTs can do, especially in accordance with the security and the running of your property. And obviously, like I said, with regards to having the deeds, etc., the documents of your house tied to an NFT. And then there's the whole system around, having the repository to hold all of that documentation, the electronic documentation, and there's a different regulations. So that's one of the NFT partnerships we've got planned. Also, there's the partnership around real world utilities, because we want to offer our clients the ability to use their product to bring down the cost of living for them. So that's the other aspect of it. We're also in talks, we're in talks with a very prominent oracle, I think is the best way to put it. And well, because without having the relationships tied, it's, you don't want to say, yeah, we're doing this. We do plan to launch on Reflex, unless something bad happens. We've had conversations with them. We also plan to lock the LP in that with another company, Everrise. We've had discussions with these people. So unless something amazingly terrible happens, then that won't change. That's our goal and our aim. And from the other side, there's been no knockback with regards to the conversation we've had. We're still early, So with regards to other partnerships, it's difficult. I've been in touch with the global marketing department of a large Christian organisation whose head office is in Switzerland. With regards to a partnership, I've been in touch with a few others with regards to a partnership, but I think hopefully you'll appreciate that the proof's in the pudding. Whilst we're at this stage, whilst people are talking to us, they're not going to commit until they see that we've got some substance behind us. So we're in discussions, but I think until we've actually, for instance, got the contracts KYC'd, got the contracts audited, and have gone through the launch, I think that's when we'll start seeing some serious relationships happening. Yeah,
cool. I think you've made potentially a good partnership with Everrise because they've got some really nice features that could be potentially useful for you, such as the Everlock and stuff like that, especially if you're going community focused. So yeah, you're on, like say, early days, but you're starting out to make some connections, so that's good.
Yeah, and I think
go on. Sorry,
I think it's key to remember that this project is not born whole. It's evolving, and we're very community focused, and we've had a lot of good input, not only from the AMAs like this one, but our community is constantly advising us on things that we could do that would improve the product, and we then go back to them and see if it's something that they agree with, and if they do, we've added it and we make the additional changes, because this product is designed to give the power back to the people that work hard every day, and you know they're throwing their money away at the moment. That's what this is designed to help.
Yeah, understood. Awesome. Do you guys want to touch on anything else about the actual token before we kind of take a look at the tokenomics?
Yeah, the token itself, it's a rebase token. So obviously you get your rewards and that, but there's something else that I think is important that we wanted to drop for you guys. We're 95% certain that our vesting schedule will have an APY reward on it. So any person that invests in the pre-sale will get a reward on their tokens, because you know we believe that your early adopters, the people that help you move your product forward, should get rewarded the same as people that buy after TGE and then just put it in staking. So we've managed so far, it looks pretty positive. We've managed to come up with a pre-sale contract that will vest the tokens in a schedule, and then there'll be an APY reward, and it's not going to mean that you have to lock it for an extra period of time after the cliff period, and then you can start withdrawing your tokens. They will have the APY attached.
Cool. Well, let's just touch on the actual the ins and outs of it. So it's a rebase token. Is it positive rebase? As in, obviously here you're saying you've got a total supply. Is this changing, going up in order to? It's not coming down.
No, the supply is coming down. We're going to have a burn. We're going to have a burn capacity, and then we're going to stop the burn. It'll be manual burns, but we'll have the manual burns done by community vote. So it'll either be monthly or quarterly. We'll put it forward. We'll have a burn until we've reduced to a specific amount, and then there'll be no more burn.
So when you're saying rebase, you're not saying that you're changing the supply, other than the burn?
Yeah, other than the burn, we've got no plans to change the supply at this moment. But yet again, that's something that will be discussed amongst the community. But we don't want to do that.
Okay.
That doesn't mean that if.
So go on, you can carry on.
No, that we're open to whatever the community says moving forward within reason. But we've got no plans to change that figure. That is the total supply of this token.
Yes,
supply.
I was just when I went through it, that's kind of the impression I got. But obviously, when people think of rebase tokens, they think of a token that's changing supply and rebasing the supply. But obviously, it's just a burn that you're referring to, right?
We've got. If you look in the fees, we've got buyback and burn. So
yeah. Okay, no, that's fine. There's just other rebase tokens that it's not
do
so
more.
positive. Yeah, no. I'm not so keen on them, to be honest with you, because you can almost manipulate the chart with it by changing the supply and making things look good. These super high APY tokens, for example, change the supply in order to make that APY like 10,000% or whatever it is.
No, that's not going to happen with us. No.
Yeah, no, that's clear then. I've cleared that up. So let's take a look at these fees real quick. Actually, I want to touch on the burn at launch. You're burning 15%. When are you doing that? Are you doing that before any holders at all, including team wallets and stuff, or are you doing it after the pre-sale, private sale? What's your plan with that? Why are you doing it?
That would be Sal's question to answer, and unfortunately he's in Australia, so he's not here at the moment. I can't answer that because, like I said, I don't know.
Okay.
That's Sal's answer. But from the discussions that I've had, it's just to start the process and bring the circulating figure down. But I don't know the reasons behind it. Sal knows, I don't. Okay.
So a lot of tokens do it because they can, obviously, let's say the supply is 100 and the team hold 10%, and then they do a burn. That theoretically means that original wallet holding increases in percentage. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I mean, our tokens are locked for 12 months. So with that also, with our token also being locked inside a third-party wallet, although it increases the percentage, if you look at the percentage we've taken in the first place, which you can see there, and then you reduce that, it's still not going to make that much of a difference with regards to the overall number. We've only taken 6% of the tokens for the team. And I'm pretty sure that our tokens might be included in that amount. I'll have to check with Sal and get back with Tia, or get Sal to answer that question for you so you can pin it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a big deal with a 15% burn, to be honest with you. It's more of a concern when it's like a 50% burn, because technically that wallet's doubling in size, if that makes sense. But it's 15%, it's not a huge amount.
And if I remember from the previous EMAs, I mean, probably definitely better to sort of dig out on the previous EMAs with Sal not being here. Would hate to give any inaccurate information out.
Yeah, no problem. That's cool.
So I said I don't know.
No, that's fine. Obviously, I know people have their specialities, so it's cool. Let's talk about your buy and sell fees then. Why have you set them at this?
Yeah, again, that's Sal's area of expertise. Again, the main reason behind it was due to making sure that we had a good set of reward systems that wasn't too high. It was a good level to get people involved, that if they wanted to hold the token, there's enough for them to hold and make profit from the tokenomics, but also it wouldn't stop people from trading the token. And obviously we were looking at the returns for the token holders, but also what we would need based on the figures for our project with regards to, make sure the liquidity would be okay, making sure that the marketing had a bit of a budget. We didn't want to. The whole idea of this is to try and keep it as self-managing as possible. So the revenue that we're looking to create is based on the pre-sale, but also the additional revenue that comes in through the volume of buying and selling. So like the 2% towards affordable housing on the sell and the 1%. Whilst they're only small amounts, they will add to the tokenomics of when we've only got one or two clients, and that could make the difference between us, being able to purchase one extra property or two extra properties. So that was the basis around those figures. It was to give us the additional funds to make sure that we've got the money to do what we plan to do in the timescales we plan to do, but also to make sure that there was enough reward for the token holders. and not too high sales figures to make sure that people would still be prepared to trade.
Do you feel like your 1% towards marketing and development is going to be enough to kickstart things?
We've got plans for marketing and that in the first place. That's just a continual stream that will come in and that will add to it. So that's more of a top-up figure than a figure that is needed, critical for marketing and development. It's just to make sure that there is additional revenue. And we're also looking further down the line. These figures weren't based on what's going to happen in the next 6 months. These are long-term figures. So whilst 1% isn't much when the volume is low, as you appreciate, if you increase in volume, if we get where we're going, then that will be a hefty amount of funds coming in.
Okay, fair enough. Just while we're touching on that marketing then, do you want to discuss anything that you've got planned?
Paul?
Yeah, sure. So we're currently recruiting ambassadors to be spreading word internationally and across all the different sort of communities. We're also going to be hosting a large promotional conference in Dubai for the launch, where we'll be bringing up on board sort of various different key opinion leaders. A full week's conference discussing the event, discussing the token and the business model itself. Obviously, we're touching all the bases. After seed, we'll be hitting every single platform. Key opinion leaders on TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and using sort of bringing together as much data as possible to promote it. Obviously, the other side of it is, a product coming to the property market where we can offer people a mortgage that they don't, a mortgage alternative that we're naming Owners Unity payment system, where people don't need to go through the standard application process, where people who are paying fortunes in rent and could definitely afford a mortgage will be able to clean up the market, essentially. Like, who's going to want to go through the standard banking system? Who's going to be wanting to pay double in deposits when they could come for us? So, the actual product's going to sell itself. There'll be a complete it'll be oversubscribed in terms of demand, which is why we're going to have to put everything towards the community for the property side of things. I mean, the earned, if you just think about the earned media that we'll get on sort of the, in whether it's papers or online news channels, the ability to be able to change lives all over the world, clearing people's mortgage off several years earlier. I mentioned quite a bit that mortgage is actually French for death pledge, and we think that's ridiculous. Your family home should be about life, not death, and Owners Unity is here to fix that.
Yeah, we're also in touch with certain crypto media outlets and such like. So we're looking to put ourselves out there. But again, what's key is looking at this as a hybrid platform that we are producing. So when we're approaching the real world clients, we have to be really, really careful that we don't scare a large portion of the market off that we're aiming to assist, because they're still fearful of crypto. We've done a lot of research and we've spoken to a lot of people that are in mortgages, that are looking to purchase mortgages, that are just renters, and we ask them all the same questions and the same answer generally comes across. So when you say to people, would you want to A, invest in a traditional mortgage, or B, invest in a system that returns some of that money back to you, you won't be surprised that most of them say B. But then you also ask them, just, what are your thoughts on crypto? You'd be amazed how many people have a negative, well, you probably won't be, but there's so many people out there that have a negative view of crypto, just because the mainstream media and the governments obviously pan us all the time because they're scared that we're going to, remove their power base. So it's a fine balance between keeping everyone on the token side happy and keeping everyone on the real world side happy. But if you look at the combined package of what we do, we believe there's enough on the tokenomics to keep the crypto side happy, and we believe the product that we offer is structured in a way that will not only entice people to come and use our product, and we already have people that are prepared to use our product, I hasten to add. But the second point of that is once they are seeing the real world benefits of crypto, we can change their minds. And if we change a few people's minds, then they obviously, word of mouth is just as good as any other type of advertising. So if they're out there saying, yeah, we've got, this has happened, it's had a positive effect on us, then other people are going to start seeing that, and hopefully that will increase adoption amongst rank and file people in the populace that don't really see crypto as an option for them at the moment. So that's the other sort of thing that we're hoping to achieve with this. So it's not just about putting people in homes and getting people off the streets. It's also about increasing awareness of crypto and making it more broad stream and more acceptable in a way that they understand. What does crypto do for me? How can it help my life? We do this, they see how it helps their life, and then they're not so scared about it, and they spread the word, and suddenly crypto is something that's acceptable to all.
Yeah, I have to agree with what you're saying. I mean, I think your biggest challenge will be getting the ball rolling, but I think once you start the ball rolling, I think it could effectively become a snowball effect. So yeah, and obviously the more adoption that comes to crypto, I think the easier it's going to get.
Yeah, but the beauty of that as well is that we can get the ball rolling without putting the first person in a property, because the tokenomics work with or without a person in the property. So the investment that we get will be invested, and then from that investment we will purchase a property, put someone in a property, then hopefully the snowball effect. So if everything goes perfectly, we'll get the funds to put someone in a property. That would be superb. If worst case scenario, we don't get enough, then we still use the investment system. Obviously, without the client, we don't have to give the 35% to the client. So all of that money can then go to purchasing property. Then we put people in the property. Then we move forward. So we're pretty confident that we'll raise enough for us to get the ball rolling. And like you said, it might be a pea rolling down a hill to start with, but we think that the product stands by itself. The fundamentals are basically solid. And the simplest way to say it is, even if we did exactly the same as any other company out there at the moment, but utilised our tokenomics, it would still make our proposition better than what's currently on the market. We don't do that, we offer more, but even if it was just that, then that would benefit people, and that was what would bring people on board. It's about reducing the time and the amount they have to spend.
Right, cool. This is kind of probably a good point to talk about your sales structure, which we've got up on the screen at the minute. So you've had a 5% seed sale, is that right?
We haven't had the seed sale yet.
You haven't done the seed sale?
No,
okay.
May 2nd.
Awesome. And then you're going to go on to a 12.5% private sale. And then obviously, when you say public sale, does that mean your pre-launch sale, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So do you guys want to tell me how much you're trying to raise at each point?
At the first point, we're trying to raise 417 BNB. And then the other 2 points are undecided, dependent on what we've raised, because those figures are there, but they are adjustable. So if we have a positive seed round, then we would prefer to offer slightly more to people at a lower rate, because the whole idea is, our investors are the board, so to speak. They're our shareholders. So we know how much we need, worst case, best case scenario, and that's what these figures are based on. But that also leaves us room to transfer some of those percentages down if necessary. So if we have a good seed sale and we clear that percentage, then we would make more available for people at a lower price, because that's the whole idea, is getting people on board. But that's definitely what we're trying to raise for the seed sale. Sal, has the definitive figures on the private and the public. I think the private is slightly higher than that. Well, obviously it would be if 5% is 400.
Yeah.
Then the figures are higher. Yeah, but they are adjustable. Not by much, but they are adjustable. And I think the key thing to remember is it's with regards to trying to produce a product that has some real world value and real world utility. We're not, it's not named after a dog in Japan or anything like that. It's this product has the ability, if backed, to change people's lives, which is why we've structured it in a way that all of the tokenomics are geared towards returning the money either to the guys that hold the token or the people in the properties, because this whole thing is designed to assist people and to be tied in the community.
Cool. I mean, they're ambitious numbers, but like you say, it's a real utility project. So, of course, there's going to be realistic numbers to make this work and get it off the ground. What kind of discount are you offering at each point in terms of the tokens?
Well, it's for seed, it's 1.2 million. Then for the private, it's 1 million, and then for public, it's 800,000 tokens. So it's a very small. We're not doubling and tripling the price as we move through. So we're keeping the price close together because we're only trying to raise what we need to get the ball rolling. Because once it gets into the tokenomics, it pretty much takes care of itself. Yeah,
and you spoke about vesting periods earlier, didn't you? Do you want to touch on them?
Yeah, of course. In the pre-sale contracts, we've managed to, like I said, add an APY, so a staking. It's not staking, but obviously a kind of staking reward system. There's a 2-month cliff. We've kept it general across the board. There's a 2-month cliff for all of the rounds. Then for seed sale, it's 9 months it's 2-month cliff, and then 9 months. With the private sale, it's a 2-month cliff, and then 6 months. And with the public sale, it's a 2-month cliff and 4 months. And all of those tokens receive an APY whilst they're investing. So rather than you tying up the tokens and watching other people stake and receive benefits, and you're not, you're also going to be able to receive the benefits that you will be able to withdraw in accordance with the vesting schedule.
Okay, so those the APY is not going to be withdrawable until the vesting schedule is ended. Is that right?
No, the APY, as I'm aware at this moment how it's working. So if after the 2-month cliff, if the next month later you take your coins out, then you will receive the APY based on those amount of tokens.
All right. What was your decision behind the vesting? Why have you decided to vest it?
Because of the type of project we are and the additional stability we believe that's needed. If people come in and then they take all the money out at the start, then that's going to make it increasingly difficult for us to get the project off the ground, because we are not relying on venture capital or external large investments. We want this to be done by the community. So that's the idea behind the vesting. And vesting just adds security and stability to a fledgling token, as I'm sure you're aware, on launch. So that's the reasoning behind it.
But doesn't the volume help you better than someone holding the coins, holding the token? Because obviously when you're buying and selling, this is all adding to your fees. And someone just holding the tokens, you're not using those tokens to invest, are you?
No, but if you look at the amount of tokens that are there on the flip coin of that, there's the volume. Yep. But if everyone sells and the price dumps quickly, then there's a high chance that people just look and say, I don't want to go near that, and then we won't get off the ground. So it does. Vesting offers stability. So whilst volume helps, there's enough additional tokens to be traded and we're rewarding people for holding them. So it's always a double-edged sword, isn't it? You know, you have to weigh up the pros and cons of both.
So, listen, I wouldn't normally do this, but this was a token I participated in recently, and let's take a look at the vesting schedule. It's kind of held. This is recent. I'm sorry, it's on an hour. Let me just change it up. So you can see every vest come in, and what happened is people were fearful to buy in until the vesting had finished. The vesting's just finished now, and obviously you can see the spike come back in. You know, and I have seen it work successfully as well. I've seen vesting work successfully, and I think it's very. You have to really think about how you're doing it.
What was the utility for that token?
So they developed their own app. They basically wanted to build they're building their own blockchain. At the minute, they've got a fully working app from the day they launched on iOS and Android. I just couldn't remember what it was then. So that's what they were trying to do. They've basically built a messaging service and stuff all within the app, and they're trying to create their own blockchain.
Sex and X wallet also.
Yeah, Sex and X wallet.
Yeah.
Okay, so we discussed whether to have vesting or not, and we weighed up that overall, in balance, it would be better for us to have a vesting schedule because of how we see the projects moving forward. There's, like I said, there's pros and cons.
Yeah.
We believe that the vesting schedule will work for us. Time will tell, but we're confident with what we're doing and what we offer that the vesting would be the best way forward for us in the short term. And we've kept the vesting schedules, you know, reasonably short term. You know, there are some that are short, but there's some out there that are, you know, lengthy. So we think, weighing up what we've done, we're happy with the vesting schedule that we've gone for.
Cool. Right, I think we were getting on in terms of the recording, so I'll probably just take a few questions after the recording, if that's okay with you guys. Is there anything you want to touch on that I haven't spoke about? Is there anything you want to say before we ask the final question?
Paul? Is he gone?
No, still here.
Falling asleep on me, Paul.
No. Just I mean, I guess I was just looking on the site itself. Yeah, I mean, we've covered so much. We've covered so much. I think just returning to we've covered so much about, you know, the tokenomics and the buyback and the burn and all that sort of stuff and the technicalities. But I think just what I want to go back over again and to reaffirm is, you know, in terms of utility and in terms of its purpose. And I think one of your members had asked a question, you know, what's the long-term vision for this? By changing people's lives across the world.
That might lead into my next question.
Right, okay, so sorry.
It's so good. It's just obviously in here we have a final question we like to ask, and I think it might be quite fitting answer to the question. So we'll see.
Do you want to do the question? And
let's do it. Yeah. So the final question we ask here is obviously the success of a project depends on like a clear vision from the team. So what we want to know is, at which point does this project become a success to you guys?
As soon as we put someone in a home, as soon as we improve someone's life, it's a success. As soon as you help raise someone up, it's a success. Even if this project does nothing more than improve one family or one group of people's lives, it will be a success. If it then goes on to help multiple people, then that's absolutely amazing. But if we help one family that wouldn't have the possibility of getting on the housing ladder to get on the housing ladder, if we then offer them security, if we then give them the prospect of not having to worry about holding that home and, losing that home at the slightest sign of difficulty, which is what happens with your traditional mortgages, because we've got additional protections in there, helping one family, benefiting one family. In our eyes, is a success, but we do have a long-term strategy in place that not only helps people, but will help the environment with the type of product that we want to produce long-term.
Nice answer. Do you want to touch anything on that, Paul?
I think Scott's summed it up nicely. I think maybe one thing we haven't covered yet, just in reference to our seed rounds. So our seed round is opening up this weekend. You can pre-register for it on our site, which is outoken.org. You can sign up there. If you're not on the whitelist, it'll be handed over to you there for Out Token to be purchased. Other than that, I think we'll maybe wrap it up there. This has been Legit Crypto and Owners Unity AMA. The seed rounds this weekend. I hope you're in. For us now, we've been out, and we'll catch you later.
Nice. Thanks, Paul.